Good morning, good night, and good evening. Shumbit's here. I am here with a full commentary video, not relating to the pieces in the background, actually talking about something that I'm very passionate about. I'm very excited about this video. I definitely have had these feelings for quite a long time, and I think these are things that people don't necessarily want to talk about, but they do feel, but due to the nature of it, they keep to themselves and just kind of let it fester. So today, hopefully I can reach out to you guys who do feel this way, and kind of reach a certain demographic and kind of just make you feel seen, because trust me, I feel the pain. So let's go ahead and get started. And before we get fully started into the video, for context, I have been an artist for about 12 years, and I've been on the internet for about the same time, and then I've been a content creator for probably about 3 years, but I guess if we include Twitter, we'll add like 5 years. But overall, I do have experience here, and I've had these feelings, like I said, for quite a while. Ups and downs, of course. And by the end of it, hopefully we'll have a consensus, and there'll be positives as well. This will not be a fully negative video, but even the negative bits is just more my personal experience and what I've noticed in the community as I've been in it for a decent amount of time, I'd say. So let's actually get into the video. All the drawings in the background are various drawings from my iPad that I had that I didn't necessarily make into a speed paint at all. So feel free to pay attention to that while you listen to my voice. I have no problem with that, but let's get started. First, artist woe. And I kind of section these off if it's more of an artist-ish situation or a streaming situation. And I have a 5 just because I could come up with more, but I don't want this video to be super long. So my first one is comparing yourself to others in the art space, which then for some equals self-worth. Now, at least for me, I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but I have self-esteem issues, as everybody does, and insecurities and all that. And in the art space, when you look on Twitter or whatever website you want to use, you see a lot of art, obviously. And when you look at that work, it's very beautiful, it's very well done, blah, blah, blah. But then you think about your work and you kind of self-reflect and be like, well, my art doesn't look like that. Or I feel like their art is a lot better than mine. And we all make comparisons. It's not great, but it's something that we'll do innately. There's nothing wrong with that. But in turn, some people, when your self-esteem isn't the best or you have trouble maintaining it, you'll take the person's art being, a 10, we'll say, and then you look at yourself and you think your art's a 5, but then you'll convert that into you yourself is a 5, or you don't have the skill set or you're not good enough, which is horrible thinking. Don't get into that mindset because it's very destructive, as I'm dealing with every single day. But still, in the ecosystem where it's very saturated, there's a lot of artists and there's a lot of not similar necessarily, but a lot of people pull from the same inspirations as they were growing up and all that. You're gonna compare yourself to people who maybe draw similarly to you or draw similar content. And it's something I try to not do, but sometimes you just naturally do it when you're scrolling on Twitter. You're like, wow, it looks so good, and you want to boost that person, but then at the same time, for some reason, you have to bring yourself down at the same time. We need to stop that cycle. We should boost everybody up, but also boost yourself up too, because you're unique and you have your own talents as well. And it should be highlighted in your work when you post. You should feel like your art has an identity in the space and everybody belongs. That's something that we all need to work on together. My second artist woe, which may be a little niche, but for context again, I've been drawing for 12 years. So I started my art journey around 2011, and we know how 2011 was. Especially for digital art, it was not as developed, I would say. Internet was still not fully infantile, but compared to now, resources weren't as readily available. So drawing back when I was 11 years old, for context, I'm 24 now. All that time that it took me to get to where I am today, I would say it's good progress. But now when I look on the internet, people, teenagers, preteens even, I see their work and it is beautiful, it's gorgeous, and I'm like, they're half my age, yet I arguably think they draw better than me. Even recently, I rated out to somebody on Twitch, and their title of their stream was beginner artist practicing anatomy or whatever. And when I looked at their art, I wouldn't have thought they were a beginner artist because it was amazing, and it's just one of those things where it kind of sits in the back of my mind. I don't think about it too much, but you think like the amount of progress someone can make now is less than what I did to get where I am. And it could be a little discouraging because it's like, well, I took 12 years to get where I am, but then here's this person, they took 2 years to get where they are. right? And of course, I can't help the time of when I started art and discovered it, but a positive of this though is that anybody can kind of get into art and you can get it done faster. And by get it done, I mean practice and actually improve, aka that PewDiePie video that everybody knows about. That's a similar thing actually to me, how there's so many resources, there's so many devices, there's so many videos, articles, whatever you would need to get started. You don't have to use this pencil and paper. You can start digital art very cheap, and there's screen tablets for like $100. Heck, I use my iPad, not cheap, but like there's just so many entry points to start art in general. And so I love, seeing new people get into art, younger people getting art early and really improving quickly, or even older people who are like been adults for a while and they want to get into art. There's so many ways to do it. But for me, as someone who's been doing it for such a long time, I do feel a little bit slighted, a little jaded of like, dang, I did this for 12 years and this is where I'm at. But then look at this, you know what I mean? That's just a little thing. Again, I cannot help the way the nature of the internet, how fast it moves, how technology moves. And I completely understand that. And I don't want to sound ungrateful because I do have a talent and I use my talent often. So I understand that. But it's just something that I think about sometimes. All right, y'all, we have the third woe, which is a streaming one. And all I gotta say is numbers. Analytics, how well you're doing, your performance. Every single time you stream and you hit end stream, Twitch and whatever else you're using, in my case, Streamlabs, sends you, here's your analytic report. Here's how well you did. Here's how many followers you got. Here's how many viewers you had. Blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. Which is nice to know, right? To see your benchmark, see where you're headed, see if you're improving, whatever. But sometimes when you look at that stuff, and you look at the ratio of the other numbers, such as your follower count and your CCV, which are arguably the things that people look at the most, especially the CCV, considering, affiliate and partner, stuff like that, require you to have a certain CCV, specifically partner, and once you have 75, which is very high for us small people out here. And for me, it's not a financial thing at all. I could care less about making money on Twitch. It's more about having people to talk to, because I'm a chatter. I love talking. I love having conversations about anything. It could be serious or not. And I love to give my opinion, my advice, whatever I have. And so when you look at my channel, for example, I just hit 1,700 followers. Well, yeah, followers on Twitch, which is amazing, right? Very cool. However, I look at my CCV. It's been at about 12 on average for about a year. And to me, that bothers me because it's like, why do I have all these empty followers? Or people are following but then not showing up at all just to be nice, I guess. I don't know. But stuff like that really bothers me because, I have other peers who are also artists who I love very, very much. But they'll have, 800 followers, for example. But they have 30 CCV pretty consistently. And I'm like, okay, so what am I doing wrong? And it kind of calls back to that first woe of the value of like those numbers then equates to my self-worth. Because then I go in the pipeline of, what about me? Do people not like? Am I not as fun and bubbly as others? And that's probably true because I'm a very mellow and chill person. But also I start to doubt, my abilities and like, is this something I should keep doing? And all that junk. I eventually get over it, but it's something that kind of runs in my mind. And, looking at the numbers kind of forces you to look at the numbers as well. You want to see yourself progress in a nice slope up, right? Like ideally, I feel like I could be at 25 CCV right now or 30 CCV, but I'm not. And I question why. I don't really know what Twitch wants me to do differently, like the algorithm, all that stuff. I don't stream the most popular games. I mostly stream art most of the time anyway. But I'm not really sure what it is. But numbers, and this goes for Twitter too, any social media website that has followers and stuff like that and likes, the numbers just destroy your mental health, and like it makes you look at things way differently and you compare yourself to others way more because, especially with Twitch, it's a space where it's competitive, quote unquote, not intentionally, but you're competing kind of with your peers and other people who do similar things to you. So definitely the numbers are very toxic, and it breeds a kind of insecurity that I still very much have. I don't understand them at all. I don't know what makes people, come watch me. It's the whole thing. I would like for all the people who follow me to come check me out. But also there's a ratio. It's like 10% of your follower count typically come watch you, which I totally understand. But I don't know. It's just discouraging overall. All right, here we are with the fourth woe, which connects to the third woe, which is CCV specific, because I'm going to get into it a little bit more about how the CCV of a content creator, specifically on Twitch, but YouTube it can apply as well. Of course, that is actual people watching. And, you know, for example, let's say you had 10,000 followers on Twitch. That's a good amount, you know, but you only had 10 people watching. When you think about it like that, that sounds kind of bad, because you're like, dang, I got 10,000 people watching. Followed. Yet only 10 people are watching me constantly, you know? You get discouraged by that. And that can be at any number. Obviously, the smaller you are, you expect less, because that's just how ratios work. But I don't understand how, when you look at other people who have less followers than you have but have more CCV, how are they doing that? Like, is there a guideline for CCV? Is there some type of tool? Something. I don't know. I'm still trying to crack it. But I also don't want to sell myself short, or sell myself in general, by doing things that I don't like, or playing things that I don't like, to appeal to the popular crowd, you could say, or the topical, current, whatever word you want to use, thing going on at the moment. I want to be me. I want to be myself and do the things I love to do. And so at the same time, I am sacrificing my CCV, I guess, by not doing the most popular thing. I don't play the most current games. I didn't jump on any trends or anything like that for the most part, as far as I'm aware of, you know. And so while you're being yourself, you feel like you're less than. And another thing too is when you're building these communities, aka Discords, Twitter, whatever you use to do so, you know, not everybody in your community will join your streams. And that kind of hurts, right? Because you love having a community. It's like a little family, but not everybody joins. Or even worse is people only join when it's a game that they like, which I know is very natural, duh. But when you're doing something like Twitch or YouTube, specifically streaming, you want viewers that will come and watch you regardless of what you're doing. And I think it's very important, because it shows like, oh, they're not coming because I'm playing, you know, this game or drawing this specific thing. They're coming to me because they want to talk to me and they like me as a person. And thus, that's how the cycle goes. If more people are watching you, you then feel good because they're coming to watch you. And you have a lot of regulars. That feels great, feels fulfilling. But we only have a lower amount of regulars, and then people who come every once in a while, every whatever, you start to question like, is it me? You know, when my peers can have 30 people consistently come watch them and they love their creator, you know, it's like their mom or dad or however you want to like kind of represent us. And then you look at me, in this case myself, but anybody, you have less than, yet you feel like you're doing the same amount of stuff as them. It feels a little bit weird and a little bit disjointed. So that's a bit more in depth about CCV and why I don't like it, even though it's more important than your follower count. Alright, here's our fifth and final woe for this video, which is feeling like you're doing so much, yet it feels like it's not enough. And that is a very broad statement, because I could apply to almost anything. But just overall, I feel like sometimes, you know, you put a lot of work into, you know, streaming or making art and then posting it, you know, and it doesn't give the results that you would like, which you cannot predict, of course. And the way algorithms work, it's kind of like luck, unfortunately. But that being said, it's worth doing the work, because you never know when you'll get picked up, or when a post that you made, you know, goes viral or whatever, you know, all that stuff. However, you should not be doing, you know, streaming and art making for the likes, for the views, for the whatever, because that's very draining and that's a very bad mindset to have. Instead, you should be doing those things for fun. And if they just so happen to get likes or so happen to you have viewers, then that's just a bonus. But never go into doing something to try to gain something out of it, unless it's specifically something like commissions or whatever. Obviously with that, you would ideally want people to buy your stuff, you know, or you have a shop, stuff like that. But that's a separate topic. But overall, I would say try to go into something with a blank slate and go in to have fun. Play games that you want to play, stream what you want to stream, and draw what you want to draw. And if you want to post it, cool. If you want to be on the internet and stream and stuff like that, cool. Or post videos, whatever. But do it for fun. And if something cool happens after, then good. But do not expect it, because if you do, you will be heartbroken really fast. And that's my 5 artist / streaming / content creator woes based on my personal experience. And at the end here, I just have a couple comments to say on the positive side and the good things that I've experienced in the community. As I've been making art, you'll meet plenty of people from all walks of life that have different experiences just like you, and may even feel the same as I spoke about in this video. Let them uplift you, become friends, and create an unbreakable bond that you have someone to lean on who understands everything that you're going through. While it may seem nearly impossible to not pay attention to numbers, whether on Twitch, Twitter, or otherwise, everyone moves at different paces. And a lot of the time, luck is involved in someone getting a sudden burst of traction, for example. But don't let it stop you from creating something amazing. Whether that be for you, keep at it and you'll reach where you want to go someday. I look at my journey on my social media platforms and realize something. I started at 0, but am I at 0 now? Nope. So that has to mean something, right? Which is true. Like, when you look back at everything that I talked about, these things are very minute when you look at the grand scheme of things, because if you are growing with social media, that is better than not growing, even if it's slower than you would like. But yeah, I started at 0 like everybody else, but I look at my Twitch and my Twitter and all that, and you know, I'm in the thousands, which is small compared to anything substantial, of course, but to me it's the highest I've ever been. Considering I'm an artist, having some type of social media presence is somewhat important if you are trying to, you know, make a living out of it, or at least even substantial income, commissions or otherwise. And it has helped me, you know, be where I am today. The fact that I'm even making this video is due to the motivation of growing my YouTube. With the help of a friend, we've been working on it and uploading videos weekly, trying to keep up a good schedule. And I would say it's been worth it so far. And I've even started streaming on YouTube, dual streaming, along on Twitch, and that's also been very fun because finally we actually have people who are regulars on my YouTube, and I think there's something very rewarding in that. Will you notice that? Of course, as I mentioned in this whole video, all those woes that I had and disheartening things are in the back of my mind, as always. But the little things, you know, having people come in and say, "Hey Shimo," and like they know me, and I know your name, and you were here at the last stream, you know, it's stuff like that that makes it so rewarding and worth doing, even with all the negative stuff behind it. I think the positives outweigh the negatives overall. I'm just singling out the negatives for the sake of the video, but I hope this was helpful. I hope you were able to kind of feel heard and have some insight on somebody who totally feels those things and would love to talk about it, even though it may come off as, I don't know, begging or trying to make y'all feel bad for me. That's not the case, I promise. This is just a commentary video that I've been wanting to do. It kind of popped up in my mind the other day, and here we are. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have to say. Please give me some feedback on this video. I was very much inspired by Duchess Celestia. If you guys have ever seen her content, I love her. She used to be very, very small, I think sometime last year, and she kind of blew up. And all she does is commentary videos on the art community, and I feel like that's something I want to do as well. If she somehow sees this video, I love you. You do such a good job. I doubt it, but either way, go check her out too. The music will be linked in the description below. My socials and everything are there too. Please follow me on my Twitch, where I do most of my streaming, my Twitter, where I post my art, and my VGen if you would like to do or get a commission from me. Other than that, guys, I love you. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.